This video is covered under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, etc.
We don't need to give the hate channels anything to work with. They might start sending ninjas instead of just mean words. We did a contest on Crotch Watch. We had people put together the thumbnails, the funniest Crotch Watch thumbnails. And I can't remember who won, but somebody won $25 gift card. And we got so much heat from, the hate channels for it. I didn't care. I still don't. You know what? I'm going to do whatever the heck I want on my show. That's just how there is. They can talk their trash on their channel. I don't care. You know what? We are liberated on this channel. We are free to have fun and talk about crime. We're free to laugh 1 minute and cry another minute. We're okay to laugh 1 minute and be angry and start spitting nails the next minute. We're allowed to do that. I can prove it. Courts have been agreeing. I have a right to do it, so we're going to do it, and we're going to continue to do it. And you know what? And the next time, we're going to even make it funnier thumbnails. The next case, when we have something as ridiculous as taking cameras off somebody's crotch when no cameras are on their crotch, when we have defense acting like that, oh yes, we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it with our head held high. And you guys are not going to know, I'm going to sit there and call out the free Bryan Kohberger dum-dums. Okay, what you guys did, I don't care. You know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to drop the mic, and I'm going to be done with it on here on YouTube, and I'm not going to say any more about it. I've watched these people that used to attack me, like Jules and all these other things. Not Jules the dog handler, that Jules, that skinhead-looking chick. I've watched these people dog this family, take their friggin' Facebook group down, and they were wrong because they're too stupid to see the forest for the trees. They're too dumb to think. And what they did to the Gonzalez family, they can kiss my breath. I had never, in the history of being on this platform, ever done anything like that to a grieving family. I got Don Wells kicked off one job. He wasn't fired, and he shouldn't have had me running all over the state of Tennessee, going to this place and that place, while he was sitting there playing me for a fool, running me around like a chicken. He got what he deserved for doing what he did. And never mind the fact that he's still looking pretty damn guilty. And then you got these asshats that are sitting here being nasty to a family that lost their child, that had their child, had to look at their bodies with stab wounds in it. And you are saying disgusting, deplorable things about them, Jules, and the rest of your freaking crew, and all the asshats out there that don't know how to look at evidence and don't have any idea what the physical evidence is versus circumstantial evidence is. You, my friend, need to shut your pie hole. Look at all the misinformation and disinformation you did, and look at the pain you caused real victims. Real victims. Real victims. Y'all did that. You want to talk about me? Go ahead. I ain't did that. I've never done that. What you guys did to the Gonzalez family is disgusting, deplorable, and sickening. You need Jesus. Come to church with me on Sunday. It might help you. You guys were wrong. I've been telling you, you've been listening to these wrong asshats for years. You're supporting people that hurt real families while they criticize the people out here trying to do right and trying to destroy even more people because they're trying to cover their own idiot asses. It's disgusting. All you free Bryan Kohberger people, wake the F up. How did you get it so wrong? Maybe you need to go back and examine your education level first and foremost, your common sense, your problem solving, and then try not to do it again. Let's try not to destroy the next family. So funny that you destroyed them, you destroyed Layla's mom, you tried to destroy Seth. Man, you guys are hitting it out of the park with destroying innocent families. Wow. Wow. Now, I'm done with y'all. Now that the whole world sees who the idiots are on these YouTube streets, now you guys know, because you hurt people. You hurt people. A mom lost her blessed daughter, and you had her memorial page shut down. What in the ever-loving you-know-what kind of people does that? You need Jesus. You need Jesus. That was despicable. My heart bleeds for those families. And trust me, I really don't have a whole lot of respect for all the families involved. But you don't hear me publicly stating that. You don't hear me publicly stating that. Maybe one day I will. A time and a place. But I absolutely support what the Gonzalez, the Mogan family, and the Kernodle family are going through, and their frustration in all of this. And then you have these asshats that want to cause chaos in a case to free a monster. They need to sit down. I'm tired of dealing with them. They're idiots. This was a no-brainer case, and if they still couldn't get this, that's how stupid these content creators are. Absolutely stupid. And they create their own narrative. They're illusionists. They're illusionists. Look at all the illusions they put before you to make you actually believe this monster was innocent. They're very, very clever and very, very creative, and you guys are stupid for following it and listening to it. Not my people. My people are smart because we educate them, just like I'm about to educate them on this. So let's go ahead and listen. Now that we got my drop the mic and my one and done out of the way, let's move on because they're not worth our time anymore. I just like to point out the obvious, right? Because they wanted to sit there for 5 years saying that I'm the problem. Boy, like I said, illusionists. Oh, give me just a second. It was the BFF. If everybody wants to know, when's she taking a call on July 4th? Because I got plans. This is not like everything I'm doing today. I'm like, social Betty now. We got a social Betty, right? Starting to crawl out of my cocoon. I've suffocated myself in for the last 2 years. We're getting out and about. It's the 4th of July. I'm going out to have a cookout. Last 4th of July. I don't know. I think I was in bed probably sucking on my pacifier, trying not to cry. Well, this year's a little bit different. The birds are chirping. Sky would say it was raining blue skies, but we all know that's a lie, right? We just heard the thunder, so we know we got gray skies and rain. But hey, if you can't go dance in the rain, well, you know what? You just can't have fun, okay? I'm sorry. Sometimes you just gotta go dance in that rain. If you get struck by lightning, well, I guess you lit it up. I guess you really were the firework going out. We're in news, and it's like, for me, if it's public and it's breaking, I'm going to run it. I'm sorry. That's my job. So even when it came down to like Bryan Inton broke the plea deal. He got wind of it, just like I did with the Michael Monkey Vaughn case. We found out somebody was arrested for failing to report a corpse. I was the first one that brought Stacy and Sarah Wandra's name to the public, and I got crucified for that. So it doesn't really matter. I don't care if I'm going to get crucified. This is my job. We bring breaking news. If I have the ability to break a story, I will break it. But long story short, they just don't believe that Bill Thompson should have done this way. They say that this was basically amateur hour. I have to agree. Bill Thompson didn't want to deal with the family. It's his freaking job. Okay, he gets paid a lot of flipping money from that county. A lot of money. A lot of taxpayer money to do his job and do it well. And he's shit on these families. The only people that are happy with this are the Chapin family, okay? And Ben Mogan. That's it. It seems to me that the Chapins, in all fairness, have had more hands in all of this. I think they're the ones that approached the university to tear down that house. They're the ones that want to clean this up and just get moved on. They're not taking into consideration to anybody else or any other victims there. None. But it is my understanding they're the ones they're the reason the house was ultimately taken down. That's the sources that I've got. Because his brother and sister still went to that school, and it was hard for those two to continue to look at that house. So it was approached by the Chapin family for the demolition. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. So it's upsetting. And Ben, I want to put this because I'm so sick of people screwing up the perspective. Because I feel we normal human beings try to make things sound good to justify certain things. And one thing I hate more than anything in the world is hearing somebody say, I want them to sit in jail for the rest of their life to think about what they did. They're not sitting in there beating themselves up for what they did. Let me put this in perspective. It's going to be grotesque, and I do apologize, but I think it needs to be said. How would Ben feel knowing that guy, every time he thinks of what he did to his daughter, he gets a hard on or goes in the bathroom and relieves himself in pleasure? And he gets to do that every single time he thinks of this case. Do you think that is punishment? Because I certainly don't. And these twisted, sick SOBs, do you think that they're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that? This guy here, maybe there is somebody that's in there doing that. But this guy here, he enjoyed what he did. And you want him to think about that the rest of his life? I don't get it. I get exactly why Steve wants his day in court. I agree with Steve wanting his day in court. And you know what? Even if this was, because we just heard from the judge that he has no control over this. Yeah, you need to think about it like that. The next time you want to have somebody sit in that jail cell for the rest of their life, you should really play that tape through and see what they're thinking about. Because this guy's a sick puppy. He's a sick puppy. He didn't seem like he was highly remorseful for his crime, did he? I don't know. I didn't see any remorse on his face. And for them to block the entire public out, a hearing and a case that cost the taxpayers, not just that county, the state and the feds, us, millions of dollars. And they blocked us out of everything and tried to put a big old bow tie in the dead of night and sneak this plea deal in and not give a crap about the input of any of the families. I feel like one family did have some input on it, at least one, which I will be looking at that avenue, because there's 4 families here. 4, not 1, 4. And we don't even have half of them. Not even half. We have maybe a 25% agreement with Bill Thompson of the victims' families. He should have brought them in. He should have had balls and backbones to look that family in their face and resolve this issue and talk about the plea. That's what's supposed to happen. Can you imagine having your child slaughtered at a university? The university shit on them, and then the prosecution shit on them. Are we an anti-University of Idaho? You bet your butt we're an anti-University of Idaho. We will talk about this case forever and ever, amen. we were going to campaign against this. Hell, maybe we should start doing some blip boards around this country against the University of Idaho, because they can't shut us all up. And in my opinion, the University of Idaho did a disservice to all 4 victims. The Moscow Police Department, in my opinion, did a great job. And the prosecution's office just stuck the knife in 10 times deeper. That's all they did. They never got justice. Bill Thompson is too blessed old for the fight. It's time to hang it up, Mr. Thompson, and retire. And if you guys keep this SOB in office up there in Moscow, Idaho, then you guys deserve it next time it happens to your daughter, because you know better. This was not justice. But I blame this, not on law enforcement, but squarely on Bill Thompson. And that's exactly where the blame needs to be had. Not this judge, not Nancy Taylor and Bryan Kohberger. I mean, Bryan Kohberger is responsible for all of this. No allocution. He was a piss poor prosecuting attorney. Piss poor. Piss poor. And I agree with Chris McDonough here. You know what's going to happen? Media, we're going to get into it. On Monday, they're going to have a certified copy from the Bullhorn Betty channel, a spoliation letter. Don't be messing with the evidence. We'll be sending that out certified as well to Moscow, Idaho. We're going to be one of these crazy media people that want to know the truth. And you know what? If I find out that Bill Thompson, I'll be in front of his office with my sign, right? I'll be in front of his office with my sign. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I have my personal viewpoints on it, and I'm sorry I'm getting a little graphic in my language, but I'm upset about this because these families have already been through so much. And then you add the asshats from this teen free Bryan Kohberger because they're too stupid to know 2 + 2 = 4. Can't help them. Probably a product of our public education system. Just saying. Not playing. I'm a product of our public education system, but I'm a product of good teachers, not social justice warriors. Just saying. My teachers weren't trying to turn me into a sex freak at 9 years old. Just saying. Had it been one of my family members, this happened. I'm telling you, I'm not a violent person until it comes to my family. Until it comes to my family, and I am a flippin' animal. You don't ever want to see that side of me. It's not a pretty side, but I know I got a beast that lies waiting, right? Everybody does. Believe me, it's called fight or flight. If you haven't learned it, then you're lucky. That means you haven't been put in a position where you've had to know it or get to know it. So for those that have never had to know it or get to know it, God bless you. But for the few of us that have been put in some terrible situations, but that's the one thing when it comes to my family. Anything else, I can deal with. And Olivia's part of my family because I was thinking about it. I'm like, Mom. I think I'm the only person Mom trusts with her by herself, but she knows that I would hurt somebody if anybody tried to hurt Olivia. Like, yeah, I pity the fool. I pity the fool. I'm a wiry one. I'm like a little monkey. So at least I was in my 20s. I haven't had to stretch those types of muscles in a really long time because I'm good. I don't live the lifestyle. I don't have the problems I used to. I pray to God I never have to have the problems. But if I'm anything like I was in my 20s, I'll be worried. I'm just saying. I might be a little bit slower, but I think I got the moves. We'll find out. Well, one day, right? One day, I'm in a crazy business. Who knows? I'm over here 1 minute. Boop. And that's why, if you guys notice, that's why I have my keys. If you notice anything about my keys, they're always around my neck. Those things right there, I've been doing that for years. If I can tell you anything about one of the most non-lethal weapons I've ever had in my life to defend myself, it's those keys around my neck. And trust me, I've had to yank them off and start flipping them around. I tell you, you don't want to be whacked by the keys because they'll whack you. Get your butt back. But definitely without a doubt, it's just you don't realize you need to use it. Now it comes with pepper spray on those key rings, so I don't even have to swing it like a helicopter anymore. I just lift and spray. I'm getting too old for this crap. I got myself an easy spot button. It goes a-hole be gone spray.
All right, that about covers it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure to turn your bell notifications on. Until next time, be well.